What is up, you sick son of a bitches? It is time that we meet again. And I've been very, very excited to film this one for you because I've been meaning to make more videos like this. This is what no other fitness coach is talking about. No other online guru is telling you the information that I'm about to share with you today. And it's because, well, as you'll find out, it turns out most people fall under this victimization to the matrix. And I'm sure you've heard people like Tate always talk about it, and you kind of wonder like what that all even means. So that's my job to elaborate to you what that all means and why it is absolutely urgent that you do this now before it's too late, before you find yourself plugged into a wall and all the big companies, corporations are controlling your every single move, and you're in this survival, low vibrational state with no consciousness. It's pretty scary stuff. So as you can see with the picture here, what this is from the movie The Matrix, and this is a representation of all people in a civilization all in their pods. Look at how creepy that is. Every single pod you see has a human being grown, and they can do this, by the way. They can. We've had the technology and science to do flesh labs, like test tube babies. They're literally doing this stuff, but the point is to symbolize more so living in a tower. Like, this is how I literally pictured it when I was living in college in the dorms. The dorms are these big, huge, tall, 26 floors, and then stuffing all people in there like ants in a little colony. And it's nothing, there's no culture, it's just an ugly ass, bland, bleak building filled with all these people in their little pods. Literally, that's literally what it is. You can't tell me it's not. So, without further ado, let's get into this slideshow. Please stay if you want to win and you don't want to be a slave. With that being said, you got to get your body in check. I mean, first and foremost, I'm a fitness coach, among other things that I coach, but mainly for my fitness, because this is the base of everything. You start with the gym, and that's where it all starts. You start going to the gym, you build up that mental toughness, and yes, you're going to get muscles, which is cool for the respect and for the girls. But what you have to realize, and it'll make more sense after this video, is that muscles and all this cool shit, you see Arnold here, that's all just 3D materialistic. Like, you can see it in the 3D world. There's two types of worlds. There's what we can see and touch, all matter, and that's what I'm referring to, is you just see the muscles, they're cool. And then there's also the energy. So like the stuff we can't see, like frequencies, like light and all that. Well, we can see light, but you know what I mean. There's certain, on the spectrum, we can't see all light and vibrations and energy and particles. So I might sound autistic right now, but if you really don't believe me and think it's bullshit, keep watching. I promise it'll make sense. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that not everything in life is about going to the gym, getting huge muscles. That's just 3D materialistic. If you operate like that, you are never going to be successful in other areas of life, like your business, like your money, your fighting, your capabilities, your social skills, talking to women, status, like all those things. You see these huge, gigantic bodybuilders, and I used to act this way as well, where it's like they hate themselves so much and all they care about is getting bigger, and at the end of the day it doesn't really fix anything. So don't worry about that. Your physique will look nice if you align yourself with your higher version self and you do those actions. So you go to the gym at least 5 times a week and you're actually training hard, not like a pussy. I don't need to I'm trying to make it as simple and clear as I possibly can. that you need to just push yourself. Okay? You know what that means. You know deep down if you're training like a bitch and if you're not hurt after it, it should hurt, bro. Every single time you should be getting stronger or more reps. It's literally that simple. So once you've been training consistently, that's okay, good. Don't put too much stress on that. Your body will come. Like I said, no excess importance. You know if you're doing the right things consistently over time, then you're going to do the right things and you're going to win in the end. So this physique I have took me 5 years of training. Probably only 2 of those years were like actually knew what I was doing, which is why I coach to help people get faster results so they don't make all the mistakes I did for 3 years straight. I'd rather just give all my knowledge to them so they can start from there. Anyways, not trying to sell you guys, but I'm not going to lie. At the end of this video, I am hoping that you will be encouraged to book a call and get started right away and be an action taker. Anyways, train like a fucking psycho. We have Michael Myers here to resemble that. It needs to hurt, okay? This is the problem with most people is they just train to modern discomfort, moderate. They're getting a little bit uncomfortable and they, just give up, just stop the set. There's nothing I hate more than that, and I used to do that all the time too, but it wasn't until I started to actually push myself past that. Get a friend, if you have any, to help you with your reps. Let's say we're hitting incline dumbbells. Then he's going to spot me after I fail, and he's going to push my elbows up more and more so I can force more reps. And you have to just be so uncomfortable if you want to grow and if you want to actually be above all these other dudes, because I know most of you watching do have that desire to just become the best version of yourself, and us men like to outcompete each other. So I'm giving you the sauce right now. And then consistently fail. It could be said with the one thing I was just talking about, consistently failing in the gym, going to failure, pushing yourself to failure, but also in other aspects of your life, dude. Don't feel like failure is a setback. It is never a setback. It just means congratulations, you're on the right path, because most people would have already given up after failing this many times. You hear this in elementary school. I don't really need to explain it, but I have consistently failed with the gym, with my bulks. I failed in that. Now I train to failure, but that's a different like connotation of the word. I'm saying failure as in like lack of. So I also consistently, at the start of my journey, would consistently fail to post. My posts on Instagram looked retarded and stupid, and most people would have been like, oh gosh, everyone's making fun of me in my hometown, they're all finding my videos. I didn't block anyone from my hometown, letting them all watch along with the process with me. That hypes me up and they're helping me out. So I don't give a fuck. That's just one example. I'm willing to fail more times than they're willing to try. Keep that in mind. Next, stop watching the government's programming. You guys call this the news. I call it government programming. So what you are doing when you're watching the news, every time you're watching the news, a group of people are setting out a message that is almost always going to be negative or fear-mongering. When's the last time you've been on the news and genuinely felt good after watching the news? And I know most of you watching might not even actually watch the news, and it's like an old person thing, but it's important, even on TikTok, even on social media, and I'll get into that later too. But like all this news, just disconnect yourself with it, because it's just going to have you stressed out and have high cortisol levels, which is what they want you to have. And they're literally psyoping. Psyop means psychological operations, which means they're basically going into your head. They're projecting their thoughts and opinions, completely corrupt and opinionated by politicians, all the bullshit. And they're putting that into your subconscious. So although you might not be thinking about it, you might base your actions later on in life around, oh, well, I saw this on the news. Or, even politically, what you think, what you believe. Well, I've been seeing on the news ever since I was a kindergartner that you shouldn't act this certain way, that you should be obedient, you should go to college, and you should treat these people with respect, and all this kind of garbage. Just cut it off, shut off, go ghost. And not go ghost, but live on your own terms. You as a man should not be caring. It is not masculine to be always watching the news and keeping updates, and no one cares. Nobody. They literally control what you think. They're pushing it out into your brains. I don't watch TV shows. I don't watch movies hardly. I'll watch like a cold movie like Fight Club or something of that nature, or like Star Wars. But I'm not watching like fucking bullshit ever. You know what I mean? So don't let yourself get programmed by the high elites or the group of people who run everything. Now, this is what I'm excited for. This is when it's going to make a lot more sense to what I'm even saying, because I might sound completely autistic, but maybe this picture will help you. So I want you to pay attention to this before we talk about these things. If you look at this, it's a scale of some emotions with different energies. And you could say, oh, it's all bullshit, but like, bro, we literally live in you've seen the zoom out of where we're at on Earth and all their planets and galaxies, how like minuscule we are, and you really don't believe in like energy? Like, come on. And you're going to start reading more books, and this will make more sense. This is what they don't want you to know about, though. It could be dumbed down when people say like, oh, well, you're locked in, or you're disciplined, you're successful. That is what this is. It is elevating above these emotions. So pay attention right here. Slower frequency, greater density over matter. Survival emotions. So what those are, we'll start at the bottom, the very bottom. This also ties in with chakras, if you've ever seen those. So here, I'll show this first, and then I'll show the chakras. So lust. Actually, I gotta prove a point here. So as we see here, let's just find the best example. Let's go right here. So if you can see this red one at the bottom represents your sexual energy. That's the lowest you can operate on. So when you're going to the bars trying to hook up with a bunch of girls, you are giving them energy, you're giving them thought, and you're giving them lust. Because we all know in college, there's some girls we've taken down before that didn't deserve it. If we're like truly like thinking masculinely and respecting ourselves, there's some gross girls, there's some 4s, there's some 2s that you probably taken down, and it was all because you were operating under lust. So lust is a very bad thing. How do I get this back? There we go. So that image helps you. So lust is at the very bottom, and this is how fast the vibration is. It's a very low wavelength of thinking. And then we have pain. So living under like, oh, I'm in so much pain. And maybe this is your starting point, because if you're going through a lot of pain right now, you can look at this as an opportunity. You're at pain right now. It only goes up. You're at rock bottom. You have your heart broken. You're broke. You're living with your mom. Whatever is painful for you, whatever is making your life painful, use that and look at it and be like, There is literally only nothing but going up from here. Victimization, again, and I'm not going to go through all these, but victimization, horrible thing to think you're a victim because you're never going to help yourself. In what world could you think that operating under being a victim is going to be the best route for you to be successful? Do you want to be rich or not? Do you want to be jacked or not? So stop victimizing yourself. The victims are always the blue-haired liberals and the other groups of people that are constantly playing the victim, saying, oh, it's my fault, or even in your situation, oh, it's someone else's fault. It's not my fault that I'm a loser and I'm fat and I live with my mom and I make no money and no girls want to have sex with me. That's all their fault. It's the world's problem. You're never going to win until you start having brutal accountability on yourself. Suffering, again, these are all the very, very low frequencies. All this you can only go up from. Shame, guilt. Let go of all your guilt because that is in the past, and the only thing you know is real right now is the present moment. So forget about it. Fuck being guilty. Be selfish. That's bad advice. Be selfish with yourself, with your standards. Fear, anger. You don't want to be this angry guy. I go to the gym and I take steroids and I'm so pissed off. You're never going to get anywhere. Control, power. These are starting to get better. These are positive. You're getting the vibrations up. And then will, your sheer willpower, like getting up at 5 a.m. just because you have the sheer willpower to do it, because you want the change. Some of you call that motivation. Gratitude, appreciation, which is what I've been getting into a lot lately, and it's been helping me a lot. Literally just actually feeling the emotions of being appreciative for what I already have instead of, but I want a Lambo, but I want a Rari, but I want a penthouse. No, I am in a very fortunate situation because there are kids out in Syria right now getting beheaded. So I'm pretty fucking grateful for what I have. I have a wonderful house, wonderful family, wonderful group of guys that care about me and want to win with me. Grateful for my clients. And yeah, love that comes with it, freedom and bliss. So I know I kind of went on a rant there. I hope you guys are still watching. Hopefully I sucked you in good. So, God, what am I saying? Anyways, so what the low vibrational physical looks like. This can look like, but is not limited to, eating fried and processed shit food. I don't need to tell you that. You already know it. But that is literally just going to fuck up your gut. Your gut is your second brain. So if your gut's all fucked up, and that goes back to the chakras, in the middle of the chakras, your gut has as many neurons as your brain. And same with your testicles, which is why, again, the energy chakra is at the very lowest. So your brain's sending a signal, or your gut is sending a signal to your brain. Basically, you feel like shit. I don't really need to go too in depth of that, but your self-image is going to go down and you're going to get fat, and it's just not good. There's no advantage. You're not going to be successful. Do you want to be jacked or not? Simple as that. Short form content. This is just brain rape. And it pretty much is never going to benefit you when you're just watching this mindless BS scattering your brain. You're not going to retain any of it. Instead of that, read books. Okay, because you're literally making yourself dumber. So that goes to IQ. The food can be physical, but that's IQ. Porn, destroying your brain, and basically just teaching you. I mean, you can say we can make any excuse you want, but at the end of the day, it really just goes back to like, you're just watching someone else get what you want. And that's the same thing with short form content. There's porn for cars or whatever. When you're watching these cars and you're watching the Lambos in the penthouse, you're like literally getting off to someone else living your dream. and you almost feel like you have it because you're watching it. So stop with that garbage. Do you want to be rich or not? Do you want to be jacked or not? Do you want to be successful or not? And then again, partying, just low frequency activities. You're poisoning yourself, poisoning your brain, poisoning your body with alcohol. It's all it is. And then you're looking to hook up with some twos. That's lust again. And then you're never going to feel good from that. It's never going to make you feel fulfilled or content. Alcohol, covered that. And hanging out with bums. If your 5 friends aren't people that you at least have one very admirable attribute to them each that you look up to, that you want to be more like, that are doing the same stuff as you, then you're hanging out with losers. If you're just hanging out with, oh, they're my buddies from high school and we drink and we smoke and that's what we do, that's our fun, well, then you guys are just drug buddies. You guys aren't actually friends. Friendships aren't based around that stuff. So now that we know that, let's become conscious. Wake your brain and your consciousness. So your physical body isn't actually you. You are basically, detach yourself from your body. This is what my body looks like, my face looks like, and everything. That's not who I am. That's not Aiden Sitzma. Aiden Sitzma is a soul. I'm a beam of energy inside this physical body. You guys must think I'm geeked, but I'm so serious. So with that being said, we know that we need to raise our standards. We need to raise our standards for, okay, we were smashing 2s. Now only 10s. That's my standard. Only 10s. Because that is what I deserve. Standards for my time. I don't give my time to people that aren't worth my time. Because that's my standard for myself. Respect yourself, man. Don't just hang out with someone just because you feel bad or whatever the case. Raise your standards for the gym. Oh, well, this, your friend wants to work out for 30 minutes and do some bullshit. That's not my standard. My standard, I don't care. I'm going to stay in the gym as long as it takes to thoroughly obliterate my muscles. Raise your vibrations. So those are the activities you need to perform to literally raise your vibrations. So the journal reflects that. Writing what you're grateful for. Praying to your God. Sitting and just closing your eyes and just thinking, manifesting, and raising your vibrations, being grateful and happy as if, meditating, that sort of thing, which will make you be more conscious. And then live in the very, very present moment. Don't be worried about what happened back then at all. Even if it was 10 minutes ago, that's still in the past. So you truly only have the literal moment. See what I'm doing? That's the moment right now. If you were to take frames and you're watching this right now, you're literally looking into the past. Think about that. I'm sitting here filming this YouTube video in my office right now. And it is currently, I don't even know, 11 p.m. on a Saturday. Most people are getting drunk for the 4th of July weekend. And you're looking into the past of this. So that's pretty cool. Think about that. You're learning. So, and don't be too worried about the future either. Don't put excess importance on those things like I was talking about, like the penthouse, like the girls, like the yachts, like the watches. If that's like your goal, or even just the physique, just be like, I'm in the very present moment right now. And I realized when I started doing this, stop going on my phone and actually just not genuinely, just no worries about anything. Just being truly present. Analyze your past, find your purpose, and question the school system. So, what I think many successful men all have in common is that they are strict analyzers of their past. They look into psychology books and then they can go back and realize, okay, maybe my childhood, what happened in my childhood? Why would that lead me to some of the toxic traits I have now or the bad habits that I have now? Why do I go back to this? Maybe I had some messed up relationship with my father. I never feel that, or I got bullied, or didn't get attention, and now I seek that from so many different people and try to fit in or belong. And I had to do this myself to realize why I was numbing myself and altering my consciousness. God gave us consciousness, and I was messing it all up, and I wasn't even in like the real reality. So just be real with yourself. Literally, if you just sit there and close your eyes and think, get off the phone, find your purpose. This one's a tough one, but I can't really tell you how. I mean, that'd be a whole separate video, but you'll know when you know, man. And you will when you cut out all of this bullshit and you really just sit there. And it'll take a while, but patience, again, is one of the best skills you can learn. And question the school system. Question if this is something for you, because that's another whole video as well. But you really need to look at this rat race. You need to look at it and be like, wow, the economy, there's no jobs. Even if I do get a job, I'm going to be tied to a physical location and work for someone building their empire instead of my own. And as a man, that's not very masculine. That's kind of beta. It's kind of cuck. And not saying that having a job is bad. I have a job too right now. But that's just to support me for right now. So you need to question this and you need to analyze it and break it down to the deepest level of them, literally from the age you are born till, you're 22 for most people. They've just pressured you and told you what to think, told you what to believe, and you never questioned. I know there's some people watching that do know what I'm talking about, that are locked in, and they understand this. More and more men are starting to wake up to this and realize, wait a minute, if I want to actually live my true life, I need to stop. I need to think and wonder, is this just a safe route? Is this just the route that my parents want, or is it what I want? And if it's what you want, congratulations. Not everyone's meant to be a G, and you can accept that. But I'm talking to people who want more than that. And then this is a huge one. Huge part of me is I love to read books for my information. You're literally downloading information that a G in history put all of his years of his whole life of knowledge into a concise book that if you can just sit there and have the patience and the willpower, again, no other dudes are doing this. I promise that, especially at my age, are actually reading books. It's literally the cheat code to life. So these are some of my favorites. I said psychology. So The Laws of Human Nature is a baseline book I recommend to all my clients. It's a big book, but it's very, very good about understanding, breaking everything down, wondering like psychologically what's going on with all these people we see around us and why they act the way they act. And that almost gives you an upper hand to everything: business, relationships, status, all that stuff. Self-development, a good one is Atomic Habits, just talking about how to lock in, pretty much how to develop yourself, develop your habitual routines that you're doing, and how to make them in a finite schedule. Finance is actually this one, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Probably one of the first books I ever read. It's basically, what do you call it? He wrote it about Andrew Carnegie, and he's one of the most successful businessmen of that time, the 1900s. And it's literally, like I said, like this whole like lifelong lesson in one book that if you decided to just pick up and read, you would have that downloaded. Take notes, ask ChatGPT for the main key points in every chapter before you read the chapters, and you'll understand it, bro. This is how you get ahead of all the men. You made it to the end of the video. Congratulations. Because you have determination and you are hungry. You're a lion at the bottom of the hill and you're starving. Okay? So thank you. You're helping yourself. And then philosophy, good one. It's kind of hard to understand because it was from super long ago, but the Prince of France at the time, Machiavelli, Machiavelli wrote a letter to the prince, and it's basically about Machiavellianism, about power, and just philosophy about life. So these are like the main categories of books. These are just all examples. You don't have to just go buy these books right now. I mean, you definitely should, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying philosophy, this is what represents that. You can do Meditations, Marcus Aurelius. Just go to a bookstore and go into these sections. Go to the philosophy section, go to the finance section, go to the self-development section, and go to the psychology section. Those are the only categories that you really need. No fairy tales, no little novels. Those are for girls and chicks that want to feel emotions. And then question your surroundings and analyze what is going on around you. So this is what I was talking about this whole video, kind of about how you need to brutally analyze and break down everything around you. What is going on? We see the material 3D world. We don't see the thoughts, the vibrations, what these people are doing, why they're doing it, and really just breaking down scenarios. And when you're able to do this consistently, you will stop wasting time. You will find your purpose, which we talked about earlier. Where was it? Finding your purpose. And I think this is one of the good things, because I know this is like a picture of derealization or whatever. This is one of the best things about smoking weed for me, was that most people like that don't smoke weed or don't get into it, I'm not glorifying it at all by any means, but I am saying it makes you realize things and break them down and start like really thinking and being like, holy shit, nothing is as it seems. So I'm not saying to do that, but I'm saying brutally analyze everything. But with that being said, that's a wrap. It's about 30 minutes. So if you made it, congrats. You're patient and you are determined to win, to lock in. And if you perform everything I said, watch this back. Just literally watch this while you're doing cardio, or watch this while you're doing something just in your earbuds, or sit down and actually watch it and pay attention. I was talking about the book analogy earlier about how books are a G's whole entire life lessons in one super concise thing. That's kind of what my YouTube videos are. And obviously I'm not a 50-year-old man with so much experience, but I'm pretty far ahead for my age. And I'm trying to share with you what you need to do to be on this level and to lock in. So if you want to lock in, there'll be a link in the bio or the caption, whatever, description, to book a call with me directly to work with me. And if you really see yourself locking in and I feel like I can help you, we'll see what we can do. But until the next one, I have some very, very exciting content coming very shortly. And I know this is a very small YouTube channel, but I promise it's going to get bigger. And it's loyalty over numbers. I want more loyal people watching than I care about views or anything else. So thank you guys for your time. I know 30 minutes is a long time, but I tried to make it as beneficial as possible for you. And I hope that you got something out of this video. If not, keep going back, repetitions, keep watching it back. That's what I do with YouTube videos as well. But it's getting pretty late. I'm going to get off. Good night. Peace. God bless.